call this meeting, the regular meeting for the Kern County Planning Commission to order. It's the regular meeting for November the 12th. Madam Clerk, would you call roll, please?
Mr. Sprague?
Present.
Mr. Louis?
Here.
Mr. Babcock?
Here.
Ms. Garcia? Ms. Poole? Mr. Hall?
Here.
Ms. Oviatt? Mr. Denny?
Here.
Mr. Murphy?
Here. Great, thank you, Madam Clerk. That brings us to item B on the agenda, and if you don't have an agenda, those of you in the audience, there are agendas at the rear door as you come in those glass doors. Item B on the agenda is commission member announcements and reports. Do we have any reports or comments? Seeing none, I do. We don't have on our agenda, but we need to take care of some past due business, and that is we need to form a nominating committee for next year's chairman and vice chair. And so I would like to form that now. I would nominate myself and Commissioner Babcock to the nominating committee and get that on the agenda so that we can get down to a vote on the next meet. Is that okay, Council? And we can do a roll call vote?
You could do one of two options. You could put it on the agenda for the next meeting, or as your prerogative as the chairman, you could appoint that committee now.
Okay, well, we're appointing the committee, myself and Mr. Babcock now, and then we would like to choose at the next meeting. Is that correct?
At the next meeting, we'll have our report.
Right. And then we would like to welcome Commissioner Melissa Poole to the podium. Thanks for coming. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make the motion to accept your nomination.
Okay, do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Babcock, second by Commissioner, I'm losing my train of thought.
Louis. Now, that's for clarity, that is a motion to appoint both Commissioner Babcock and you on
As a nominating committee.
Right.
That's
Second.
correct. And that is a roll call vote.
Yep.
So all in favor say aye.
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 So it's unanimous. And that moves us on to approval of minutes for October 22nd, Madam Clerk. I think all the commissioners have received copies of this and have read their minutes, so I'd entertain a motion to approve the approval of the minutes for October 22nd.
I'd move to approve the minutes.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second. Motion by Commissioner Poole, second by Commissioner Louis. And Madam Clerk, is that a roll call vote? No. It is
All in favor?
individual, so would you call roll? Roll call.
It's all in favor.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Okay, and that is approved. We go to item D. Mr. Denny, I believe you're handling the situation for the planning department tonight. Is that correct, planning staff?
Correct, Commissioner Sprague.
I'll let you handle that.
Under item D, cases withdrawn or request for continuance, we have 4 projects. Project number 1 is conditional use permit number 12, map 115-36. This is Donna Gallagher and Gary Gearhart by Common Sense Consulting, and staff is recommending that this project be referred back to staff. We also have case number 3, or item 3 on your agenda. This is specific plan amendment number 15, map 232, in conjunction with zone change case number 32, map 232, and conditional use permit number 26, map 232. This is the Willow Springs Solar Project by Willow Springs Solar LLC. Staff's recommendation is to continue this to December 10th, 2015. We have then item number 6 on tonight's agenda. This is conditional use permit number 134, map 101. This is David and Melody Carr by Broomfield and Hagen LLP. Staff's recommendation is to continue this case to December 10th, 2015. And our last item under this section is item number 8 on tonight's agenda. This is track 7297 in conjunction with zone variant 73, map 101. This is Landeron LLC by Del Martin Associates, and staff's recommendation is to continue this to December 10th, 2015.
Thank you, Mr. Denny. Commissioners, I would
Mr.
entertain a
Chairman,
motion.
I move approval of item D as presented by staff.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Babcock, second by Commissioner Poole. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll, please? Oh, cast your votes. I keep getting used to this new computer system, so would you cast your votes?
revise.
Thank you. Okay, that takes us to item E, consent items on the consent agenda. Mr. Denny?
Under item E tonight, Commissioner Sprague, we have several items on our consent agenda. As a reminder, these are items scheduled before the Planning Commission which are being recommended for approval by the staff, and the applicant has been informed of any special conditions and has no objection. The hearing on these items may be expedited if no member of the commission or audience wishes to comment or ask questions on the case. Our first item is item number 2 on your agenda. This is zone change case number 4, map 192-35. Our applicant is Charles Wilson. This is for property located at 12200 Monta Vista Drive in Boron. Our request is a change in zone classification from C2 to E1/4, which is general commercial, to estate 1/4 acre or more restrictive district. Staff recommendation, advise Planning Commission to recommend the Board of Supervisors approve the zone change as requested and adopt the suggested findings as set forth in the draft resolution. Our next item is item number 4 on your Commission's agenda. This is General Plan Amendment number 9, map 140, zone change case number 17, map 140, precise development plan number 11, map 140, agricultural preserve number 10, exclusion. Our applicant is Dowd Land Company by Bruce Anderson. This is for property located at 10121 and 10131 South Enos Lane, south of the intersection of South Enos Lane, which is State Route 43, and Taft Highway, also known as State Route 119, southwest of Bakersfield. The request is to amend the land use, open space, and conservation element of the Kern County General Plan from map codes 8.3, which is extensive agriculture, to map code 7.1, light industrial, or more restrictive map code designation, in conjunction with a change in zone classification from A, exclusive agriculture, to M1 PD, which is light industrial, precise development combining, or more restrictive district, in conjunction with a precise development plan for 5 office warehouse buildings pursuant to section 19.36020.D1 and section 19.36020.E.2 in an M1 PD district, and exclusion of approximately 20.03 acres from the boundaries of an agricultural preserve. An addendum was provided to your commission tonight, which reflects revisions to the steps to compliance in the mitigation measure monitoring program. And with that addendum, staff's recommendation now reads, advise Planning Commission to recommend the Board of Supervisors to adopt the mitigated negative declaration and revised mitigation measure monitoring program, approve general plan amendment as requested, approve zone change as requested, approve precise development plans subject to recommended conditions, approve exclusion as requested, and adopt the suggested findings as set forth in the draft resolutions. Our next item on your consent agenda is item number 5. This is zone change case number 48, map 102-12, and precise development plan number 23, map 102-12, in conjunction with zone variance case number 95, map 102-12. Our applicant is David Isaiah. This is for property located at 1303 Oildale Drive in Bakersfield. The request is for a change in zone classification from R1, which is low-density residential, to C1 PD, neighborhood commercial, precise development combining, or more restrictive district, a precise development plan for convenience market pursuant to section 19.30.020.C.3 in a C1 PD district, and a zone variance to allow 6 on-site parking spaces where 12 spaces are required pursuant to section 19.82.020.D.4 in a C1 PD district. Now, again, on this case, an addendum was provided to your commission, reflects revisions to the recommended conditions of approval to ensure compliance with comments that were received from agencies during the preparation of that report, and to clarify the county's development standards. Staff's recommendation as a result of that addendum is to advise your Planning Commission to recommend the Board of Supervisors approve the zone change as requested, approve the precise development plan subject to the revised conditions, approve the zone variance subject to revised conditions, and adopt the suggested findings as set forth in the draft resolutions. Our last item on the consent agenda is item number 9. This is a modification of conditional use permit number 6, map 142-1. Our applicant is Christina Athwal. This is for property located at 10402 Campagnoni Street in Bakersfield. The request is to modify a conditional use permit 6, map 142-1, which was originally approved on August 11th of 2011 and allowed the continued operation of an agricultural trucking operation for a temporary 2-year period of time in an A exclusive agricultural district. This was subsequently modified in March 13th of 2014 for an additional 6-month period of operation, and again on November 13th, 2014 for an additional 1-year period of time. The request tonight is to amend conditions to allow an additional 1-year period of operation. Staff's recommendation is to adopt the mitigation measure monitoring program, approve the modification of the conditional use permit, subject to the original conditions of approval, with the amendment of conditions 7 and 9 as recommended by staff, and adopt the suggested findings as set forth in the draft resolution. This completes staff's presentation of the consent agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Denny. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak on items number 2, 4, 5, or 9? If you do, raise your hand, and we will hear them in their regular order. If not, we'll make one vote on the podium here with the commissioners. So is there anybody that wishes to speak? We have one hand up. And is there anybody else that wishes to speak on items 2, 4, 5, or 9?
Ask her what number. Ask her what number.
Which number are you wishing to speak at?
Number 9.
Number 9, okay. We will hear number 9 in its regular order, so you'll have a chance to speak on it. Okay, that gets us down to making a motion on items number 2, 4, 5 of the consent agenda. Commissioners, do you have any comments or questions?
I'd move to approve the consent agenda items 2, 4, and 5.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Poole, second by Commissioner Louie. Madam Clerk?
Would your motion include making note of the negative deck and the mitigating, measuring, and monitoring program on number 4?
Correct. We'll do
Yes.
that. And the second carries through, I guess, Mr. Louie?
Yes. Second.
Okay. With that, could you cast your votes, please, on the screen?
All ayes.
Okay. So we'll hear number 9 in its regular order. Now, Mr. Denny, notice of right of appeal, is that subject to these items?
Of the 3 items that were on the consent agenda approved, items 2, 4, and 5 are not subject to appeal. They will be moving forward to the Board of Supervisors for consideration.
Great. Thank you very much. And that brings us to item F, which is public presentations. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak on any items in the purview of this commission tonight which are not on tonight's agenda? If you do, raise your hand and come forward. Seeing no one wishing to speak on items not on tonight's agenda, then we will go to public hearings. And we go over to, I believe, item number 7. And that is track number 7289, vesting track 7289, vesting map 7289. So I would entertain a staff report.
Is the applicant here?
Is the applicant in the audience? Mr. Denny, do you see the applicant in the audience?
I see him there, isn't there?
We have representatives from McIntosh in
Great.
tonight's audience.
All right. Would you come forward, please, and sit in the front so we can kind of speed this hearing along? And could we get a brief staff report? Or a staff report?
I can do both. I can do both. Thank you, Commissioners. Item 7 on tonight's agenda is consideration of vesting tentative track 7289 in conjunction with 2 limited design variations. Our project site, and let me step back for just a minute and recognize that with me tonight is a staff planner in our land division unit. This is Mr. Lonnie Bell, who will be assisting tonight. Mr. Bell is the individual who, along with the supervisor, worked on the preparation for this consideration by your planning commission. And with that, Mr. Bell has put up a vicinity map of our project site. We are looking at a project that involves about a 14.5-acre undeveloped parcel that's situated on the northwest corner of Hageman Road and Santa Fe Way in the Rosedale area. Our project site is presently zoned A, but it has an E1/4, which is an estate 1/4 acre lot size, being held in suspense pending recordation of a final subdivision map, which is before your commission tonight. Property in this area is a mixture of uses. To the north, we have a school district maintenance facility. I think Mr. Bell might be putting up here an aerial photograph for us. And as we do that, property to the east across Santa Fe Way and the Burlington Northern Santa Fe Railroad is developed with industrial uses, while to the south we have single-family residences, industrial uses, and then some undeveloped parcels. Property to the west is primarily single-family residential tract homes. The applicant has filed vesting tentative tract map 7289 and is proposing to divide this 14.5-acre parcel into 34 lots. These lots would range from just over a quarter of an acre, 10,890 square feet, to 22,970 square feet for single-family residential use. They're also proposing an approximately 30,000 square foot sump lot. This project includes 2 limited design variations to the land division ordinance, and this is to reflect what are referred to as double frontage lots and reverse key lots, or key lots, which are reverse corner lots. A through lot is essentially street that fronts on, or a lot that fronts on 2 street, while these key lots are again reverse corner lots. The applicant's justification to allow the double frontage lots is based on the fact that these lots are adjacent to arterial roads, and while they are double frontage lots, there will be a masonry wall, if approved here, which will eliminate access to Hageman Road and Santa Fe Way from these parcels. So in essence, all these lots will be taking access from the interior roads. Justification for the key or reverse corner lots is on the basis that the lot design is constrained by the existing residential development to the west, and we have a separation of grade with the intersection of Hageman Road and Santa Fe. Consequently, this proposed design layout is the best and highest use of the land, with the zoning of E1/4 being held in suspense by the Board of Supervisors. Now, this area is served by Vaughn Water Company, and they have, the applicant has provided a will serve letter from Vaughn Water Company. Presently, sewer service is proposed by individual septic tank. However, as your commission is aware, under the provisions of the Western Rosedale Specific Plan, all new residential development must hook to public sewer. However, if public sewer is not available, provisions within the plan allow the Board of Supervisors to consider an exception. At this point in time, staff is recommending the inclusion of a condition of approval which reflects the Western Rosedale provisions and will require this tract, if approved, to connect to public sewer. But given the length of time at which a tract may take to actually record, it's entirely possible that sewer may be available in the near future and an exception would not be necessary. With that, page 2 of the staff report goes into great detail about the sewer that's available in the area, where it's at, where it is not at, and what it would probably take to put sewer into the project immediately. During the processing of this request, staff did receive, after notification to the agencies and utilities and property owners within 500 feet, 5 comment letters from individuals. These are identified on page 3, 4, and in the addendum. Of the 5 comment letters received, essentially we were looking at comments that related to sewage, traffic, water, and parks. And in the original staff report prepared, again, staff went into detail to explain at this point in time that sewer is not presently available, and at the present time, there is no consideration being given by your commission to make a determination as to how sewer will occur. In accordance with the Western Rosedale Plan, this project must connect to sewer, public sewer, unless an exception is considered by the board, and that is not being processed at this time. With regard to traffic, there were numerous concerns about access to Hageman Road in Santa Fe. Right now, this development proposes right turns in, right turns out, based on existing design of the track and the fact that there is a median in Hageman, and there is what's referred to as a double painted stripe on Santa Fe Way, which essentially is a barrier or median under the Caltrans, I believe the Caltrans design standards. With regard to water, as previously indicated, they do have a will-serve letter from Vaughan Water Company, and this will-serve letter is a determination of the intent to serve by that company. There is a recommended condition of approval that prior to recordation that a final will-serve letter be provided, because again, residents were concerned that given the present drought, whether a will-serve letter had been provided today may not have the same effect as a letter given conditions that may be 5 to 6 years from now. So again, there is a requirement to provide another final will-serve letter at the time of the track is getting closer to consideration of recordation. With regard to the last issue that was raised, and this was by Mr. Love, this is in your addendum, there was a concern about the provision of a pocket park, and in reviewing this project, the project was reviewed in accordance with the Western Rosedale specific plan, and in that plan, park services in that area are actually purveyed by North of the River Recreation and Park or the Kern County Parks and Recreation Department. Now, based on the location of this site, park services would be provided by North of the River Recreation and Park District, and under their master plan, there is a proposal for a park. It's approximately 9 acres located to the north and west of this site. The parks are north of the river. In commenting on this project, reminded staff or the county that essentially they would need to annex into the park system. There is a recommended condition for that. As building permits are issued, park and recreation fees would also need to be collected as required by state law for that development. Part of the issue with answering Mr. Love's question with regard to the need for a pocket park, this tract, based on its size and number of lots, doesn't meet the design standards for containing a park within its own boundaries. Its intent is to utilize a neighborhood park in that area, and again, according to the master plan, there is one that would be located to the north and east. With regard to the rest of the comments received, those are identified on page 5 of the staff report. The Public Works Department went back and reiterated several conditions of approval that needed to be incorporated regarding sewage disposal. Should this facility not connect to public sewer, and this would be the requirement for payment of connection fees and installation of dry sewer, because again, in the long run, the intent here is for it to connect. So there are conditions that are been preloaded into this project to ensure that should a sewer exception be approved by the board at a later date, there are provisions for protection and monitoring of the water program and ultimately connection to sewer when sewer lines become available. Page 6 of the staff report again reiterates the discussion we had with North River Park and Recreation District. We also got comments from the Division of Oil and Gas. They indicated that there were 2 plugged and abandoned wells within this boundary. These wells, or the surface plugs for these wells, were tested in May of 2013, and they were successfully leak tested, and there's no further work recommended on those. Comments were also received on the bottom of page 16 from the Public Works Department Development and Review Unit, which reiterated the need for a number of conditions related to street improvements, and these would be not only within the track itself, but along the frontage for the track, and those are delineated on page 6 and 7 of the staff report. Now, with regards to environmental review, in processing this request, staff went back and took a look at the CEQA guidelines, and the CEQA guidelines section 15182 basically states that when we have an environmental impact report for a specific plan that was adopted after January of 1980, we can utilize that to implement a residential project. The Western Rosedale plan was adopted under an EIR that was approved in 1994, and then that plan was again amended in 2007 for the sewer policies that we briefly touched on tonight. We also take a look at section 15183 of the Public Resources Code, which basically states that when there's been an EIR certified for a project, there does not need to be additional review unless there are project-specific effects which are peculiar to the site. In our review of the project, we did not find any of those peculiar effects, and as such, we believe that the project satisfied the requirement of CEQA under section 15182 and 1583. Should your commission agree, the findings that you would be in the resolution to adopt the project would reflect that. Now, the Subdivision Review Committee, or also known as SRC, did consider this project on October 28th of 2015 in order for the department to carry their recommendation forward to your commission. At that hearing, again, there were a number of comments that were raised from the letters that were received regarding water, traffic, sewer. Those were discussed at the hearing, and the applicant acknowledged those concerns, and that discussion is expanded upon on page 8. Again, they are very clear that they're aware that the traffic will be right in, right out turns, that they are aware of the requirement to connect to sewer, and that in order to not connect to sewer, they would need to pursue an exception. The bottom of page 8 and page 9 specifically go back in and identify the findings to approve not only a tract but the development variation. Your commission has not considered a number of these in some time, as tract development in the unincorporated area has not seen a significant pace. But again, on pages 8 and 9 of the staff report, staff identifies the finding your commission must make, and towards the bottom of page 9 and the upper portion of page 10, staff identifies how it believes your commission can make those necessary findings and therefore lays those out, and they have been included in the resolutions that have been prepared in advance for your commission. Based on this information, the Subdivision Review Committee concludes the project as conditioned, sufficiently demonstrates compliance with the necessary findings, and recommends approval of vesting tentative tract map number 7289, subject to the revised conditions that contained in the addendum, and approve petitions 2751 and 2752, which are the limited design variations, and adopt the suggested findings as set forth in the attached draft resolution. This completes staff's presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Denny. Any commissioner questions or comments at this time? Okay. Then we'll move forward and we'll open a public hearing and listen to the applicant make an opening statement. Would you come forward, please, and state your name for the record, please?
Good evening. I'm Roger McIntosh with McIntosh & Associates, representing Kern Land Partners, LLC. I think Mr. Denny outlined the concerns and the issues on this succinctly. I did want to point out that we are designed to sewer to the tract and connect to the tract to the west. That has dry sewers in it, and that is designed to go to the north. There is another tract of about 40 acres to the north of that that's in the city, and they recently received approval to tie into the sewer further north and to make this connection so that we can have sewer. If that does not happen soon, then we will ask for the exception. Other than that, we have no other concerns with staff report. We concur and agree and ask for your approval. I know there are concerns about the turning movements in and out of the tract, but I think staff has addressed those adequately. So I'm here to answer any questions you
So
may.
you're putting dry lines in the event you could hook up to sewer, the lines are in the ground already?
Yes.
Okay.
The sewer lines, actually, at the southwest corner of the tract, there is a sewer connection that will make to the tract to the west and tie into that tract.
Okay, and presently the sewer line's 5,000 feet away for connection, although before the separation of grade it was like 600 feet, correct?
Yes, but because of the separation of grade,
So you can't pump
we have
it
to
up.
put a 30-foot lift station
Got
in, and that's just unfeasible.
So in future development, if the sewer is there within 1,000 feet, it would connect?
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you, Mr. McIntosh. Thank you. Anyone in the audience that's opposed to this application wish to come forward and make a statement? Or okay, anyone in support wish to come forward? Okay, seeing none, we will come back to the dais, to the commissioners, and ask for any comments or any questions of staff. And at that point, I guess we'd ask for a motion.
I'd move to approve, as read into the record, item 7.
We have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Poole, second by Commissioner Babcock. Commissioners, would you cast your vote, please?
All ayes.
Thank you. Okay,
Commissioner Sprague, if I may,
yes.
we should probably identify the notice of right to appeal even for individuals who are not in attendance tonight.
That'd be fine.
For this particular project, as the Planning Commission action is final, actions are subject to appeal to the Board of Supervisors by any interested person, and no development proposed by any application may be authorized until after the final date of appeal. An appeal may be filed with the Kern County Planning Community Development Department, 2700 M Street, Suite 100, Bakersfield, California, with a filing fee of $540 on forms available at the Planning Community Development Department. Because this is a tract map, an appeal must be filed within 10 days from the date of decision of the Planning Commission. Any such appeal must be accompanied by an appeal fee of, again, $540. If no appeal is received, the action of the Planning Commission is final. There is no right of appeal for projects which are advisory, which is not, in this case, an advisory. This is a final decision. Now, for the purpose of clarification, 10 days, including the date of today's hearing, would be a Sunday. Therefore, the final appeal would be at 9 o'clock on the following Monday morning. So the Monday after next at 9 a.m.
Thank you, Mr. Denny. Brings us back to item number 9 that was on the consent agenda that we pulled off.
Ask her to come down and ask her to come down and find out.
Yeah. Would you come to the podium, please, and state your name for the record, please? Are you in favor or opposition to this?
I'm in favor. I'm here for Christina. My name is Veronica Molina, and I'm here for Christina Athwal. And I just...
Would you spell your last name, please?
Molina. And I just want to be clear as to the amendments to the conditions 7 and 9. I just want to be clear as to what it is, where we're at with all of this. As you know, Mr. Denny, we still haven't been able to get the merger done. We're still in the process of that, so I wanted to see where that stands and just be clear as to what the amendments are on the continuance.
Mr. Denny, would you like to reply to that?
I'd be happy to. Basically, the two amended conditions that staff is recommending is the amendment of condition 7. This condition is the one that specifies a time frame for operation of the facility. So in the amendment of condition 7, we will be changing it from September 26, 2015, if approved by your commission, to September 26th of 2016. It would be a one-year extension from the last approval. Again, tonight's hearing occurred after, but they did file in a timely manner. So again, we are not taking it from tonight's hearing date, but from the date of effectiveness. Condition 9 is a modification of that condition, and it's to reflect there was a condition already adopted that required that a masonry or concrete block wall be put up. That wall was not put up, but it's subsequent to that original adoption, the applicant acquired more property. And during that time, they have been working to merge these parcels together. They have had some problems with regarding, I believe, the deeds of trust.
Yes.
And so what staff is recommending here is a revision to condition 9, which states that within 90 days of the effective date of this decision, and that would be 60 days after the 2-week appeal period from today, that one of 3 things occur: a 6-foot-high concrete block, a masonry wall, or other approved wall construction material be constructed along the east half of the southerly property line as required by condition 5F. Should parcel merger 14-11 record and thereby legally merge the 2 subject parcels, the applicant may remove said wall after recordation of the parcel merger. And in this case, we are looking at utilizing condition 5F. More than likely, if they are getting close to that recordation, they will probably construct a wood wall or fence barrier, but they must do it within 60 days because we have gone for well past a year without it. They would construct that wall within 60 days, and then once the partial merger occurs, the need for that wall would no longer exist and it could come down. Staff agrees with the applicant to make them construct a masonry wall. To only have to remove it is not an effective use of time and money.
Okay. Did that clarify your question?
It did. That was my question. We are having issues with the merger. We actually already have a wooden fence up, so that was I didn't know if it's approved, if the wooden fence that we have up now is sufficient enough until we are able to get the merger done, which at this point we're looking at about 4 more months on resolving everything with the merger. But in the meantime, we do have a wooden fence up on top of the neighbors are now gone, and I know that was part of why we were supposed to have built a masonry wall between both properties, since both properties are owned by my parents. So they were basically asking us to put up a masonry wall between one of our properties to another property because of noise level or whatever the situation was. So at this point, that's what I wanted to be clear of, if the wooden fence was okay because it's already there, or if we don't get the merger done within the 60 days or whatever it is, if we are still going to have to construct that wall.
Mr. Denny, would you like to comment?
I would be more than happy to, Commissioner Sprague. What staff will do then, with permission from the property owner, because all our inspections have been taken from the roadway. We've had several conversations with the applicant about making sure that we didn't interrupt their business. We will contact the applicant. We will make a time to perform an on-site inspection, take photographs of the fence or wall that's been constructed, show them to the director, get her concurrence that it is acceptable, and if that is the case, then the condition will have been satisfied.
Okay.
If not, we'll provide instructions on what needs to be done within the next 60 days after the appeal period. And again, once the merger occurs, once that is done, then that construction or that wall could then come down, as the need for it would no longer exist.
So you're still requesting action tonight, or would you like a continuance till you inspect?
I believe we're far enough along and we're in concurrence to simply take action tonight, and then we will coordinate with the applicant to do an on-site inspection.
Okay.
That's
Thank you,
fine.
Mr. Denny. Thank you for coming
Thank
forward.
you.
Okay, Commissioners, you've heard that report, and I would hear comments or questions or action by someone.
Chairman Sprague, I'll move to approve item number 9 as previously read into the record by staff.
Okay, we have
Second.
a motion by Commissioner Louie and a second by Commissioner Poole. Commissioners, would you cast your vote?
All ayes.
Thank you. Okay. And is that also subject to appeal, Mr. Denny, at this point? By anyone in the...
You are correct. Thank you for reminding me. Again, item 9 on tonight's agenda, which was the modification of the conditional use permit, is final, and as such, it is subject to an appeal. And then once again, an appeal may be filed with the Kern County Planning Community Development Department at 2700 M Street, Suite 100, Bakersfield, with a filing fee of $540 on forms available at the Planning and Community Development Department. In this instance, the filing fee must be made within 14 days of and including the date of the hearing. That would be the Wednesday after next by 5 p.m. Any such appeal must be accompanied by an appeal fee of $540. If no appeal is received, the action of the Planning Commission will be final at that time.
Thank you, Mr. Denny. Any other questions, Commissioners? Okay, that leads us to item number H, which is adjournment. And our next meeting will be December the 10th, 2015.
Move
So
to
I'd entertain a
adjourn.
motion.
Second.
Commissioner Babcock has made a motion, second by Commissioner Poole. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and we are adjourned.